Good morning, and welcome to Faith Fridays with Coach Ellis. I am Coach Ellis, and this is the day on Fridays where we talk about things that encourage our faith walk. You know, this past week I was at a homegoing celebration for a friend of mine, and for those who don't know what homegoing celebration is, a lot of people simply call this a funeral. But I choose to think we celebrate the life instead of mourning a death. So we were at this homegoing celebration, and as I was explaining to some folks as I was flying back from this celebration, in the airport they ask you the normal questions. Hey, what are you doing? Were you there on business? I said, no, I was there for a homegoing celebration. And this person said, and I said, well, I'm sorry. I said, I understand, and just understand that we all must walk this path. This is the path that all of us will walk, and none of us will escape. And then the person said, yes, it rains on the just and the unjust. So I smiled and shook his hand, but inside I was shaking with the fury of Hulk Hogan. I wanted to reach out and grab this brother and shake some sense into him. It rains on the just and the unjust? Really? That's what you would say? And then it came to my attention one more time that people simply say things they think the Bible means, and they really do not know what the text says. It rains on the just and the unjust. Whenever there's something tragic that happens, you hear people say it rains on the just and the unjust. And I want to posit this with you for just a few moments this morning. That is in the Bible. It's in Matthew chapter 4, probably around verse 25, halfway through the verse. That the English version says it rains on the just and the unjust. But how do we get that as being a thing of tragedy? Right, the sentence right before that says, and the sun shines on the good and the bad. And right before that it says, this is what God does because he expects things out of you. And the verse right before that talks about, bless those who curse you. Do good to those who mean you evil. The idea of it rains on the just and the unjust follows this idea that we are expected to love those who don't love us, to do good for those who want bad for us. We are expected to rise above our situations, circumstances, and conditions, and their opinions of who we should be, to be exactly what God calls us to be. So, because we should love those who hate us, bless those who curse us, pray for those who despitefully use us, because of that, we should not expect anything less than for God to shine his sun on them and apply rain to their lives as he does ours. Here's the thing. We tend to associate rain with storms. But in this context, among an agrarian society, the sun shining provided warmth, but the rain falling provided nourishment. And it is here that we find that God warms our life and nourishes our spirit, whether we are good or bad, whether we are for him or not. In fact, the Methodists have this phrase I learned from the United Methodists called provincial grace. And what this is, it is God giving you good stuff while he's waiting for you to get your head screwed on right to come answer his call for you. This idea of it rains, it means God nourishes. It's not an idea that there's tragedy. It is that God provides for you while he's waiting on you to come into his marvelous light. Right after that verse, it talks about, do you expect a reward because you're nice to those people who are nice to you? Any publican can do that. And I like the way the Message Bible says this. Any run-of-the-mill sinner can do that. So really, you want something special for doing what everyone else does? Being nice to those who are nice to you, honoring those who honor you, tit for tat. How about do something extraordinary? So when you go to work today and your boss is in a really foul mood and he has to fuss at somebody, go in there and take the fussing out so others don't have to. when somebody has to be angry, let them be angry at you and then smile at them. Okay, not diminishing like, yeah, I know, I got you this. No, genuinely smile for them and with them. Make them laugh. You know, when somebody has something going on in their life today that really upsets them, offer them the hug. Don't do like everybody else. When everybody's complaining, complain with them. When everybody is grousing about the boss, grouse with them. No. Be that beacon of light in the midst of the darkness. Pierce the darkness of the day with your light, with your bright light, because you are different. If you're like everybody else, how will the world know that God is real? You must be different. So when people are trying to push responsibility off, if you did it, own up to it. Say, I trust God enough to cover my honest mistakes. And even if it wasn't an honest mistake, I tell people all the time, I don't do a lot of things wrong, but when I do, it's big. So I make up for all the little things I don't do, but doing huge things. But when I do those huge things, I own up to it. Because after all, why lie? God already knows. So it rains on the just and the unjust. It nourishes us. It replenishes us. It refreshes us. So yes, let it rain today. Let it rain on your life today. And let that nourishment, that replenishment filter out to everybody in your environment. For God loves you. And He loves you enough to put you in a situation where you must stand all by yourself. And really, you're in a position where people should be able to see God through what you're doing. Not see anything else but God's life through what you're doing, because it is so drastically different. So be strange today. Be weird today. Be faithful today. Let it rain on your life today, because it rains on the just and the unjust. Hey, this is Coach Ellis for Faith Fridays. Join me next week as we have another transformational conversation. You can reach me at coach@elliscrum.net. That's ELLISCRUM.net. Or you can catch me on Facebook at Coach Ellis. I am the coach to the pastors and leadership teams. God bless you. Have a one-tabulous, faithful Friday.